Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your Pisces season reading at the Oracle of Atlantis. So, Pisces house can represent the energies of sacrifice and rehabilitation, things that need to be let go of. The new energy coming in, which is kind of fitting for the end of winter, beginning of spring type of energy. The current moon phase at the time of this recording, we have the waxing crescent in Taurus with the affirmation, I cherish my core values and allow them to guide my decisions. That is from the Moon X or Moon Phases app. So that's very fitting. The house of Taurus is connected to our personal values, self-worth. I cherish my core values and allow them to guide my decisions. Like I said, that is the Moon X app. You can download it. There is a free there is a subscription, but you can bypass the subscription and use the free version of it. So gone ahead and pulled out your three main oracle cards. I will have all the decks I'm using hashtagged in the description box below. We're starting with the Divination of the Ancients. You have Ornithomancy with some sort of omen. This picture of the window itself and the beach in the background has two, maybe three particular omens for me. One was actually an old picture I had in a house that I lived in, was one of those like 3D kind of light up pictures where it was like open to the ocean. The other one is actually from the show Agatha All Along, which is like the first house is like the beach house and the window cracks and they're about to, like, a flood comes. Anyway, that may have some significance. You may see your own kind of connections through this, like I myself just did. So, Ornithomancy. Ancient Romans released doves and pigeons and inferred omens and signs from their patterns of flight. Taking the auspicious in this way, the augur interpreted the messages from the gods, learning whether or not they cast their favor. Augury was first practiced by Etruscans. Divination from the flight, cries, colors, behaviors, and types of birds is a practice that dates back to ancient Greece, although other tribal cultures practiced this art too. For example, the many tribes of the Americas, Australian Aboriginals, and the Polynesians placed much emphasis on the actions of the great seabirds and birds of prey as key indicators of the state of the natural world around them, as well as the spiritual realms of the ancestors. Do not ignore your intuition, messages, or signs. Think before doing anything that will take you from your true path. Someone may not be being honest with you. This is not a time for new ventures. Do not move forward at this time. Be alert for the signs that are all around you. You have not heeded your internal alarm, so this flight of birds comes to warn you that you are in the process of making a huge mistake. You may be flying high at the moment, but could fall quickly and suffer a very nasty bump as you land. Already you have been swept away, but never fear. It's not too late to get back on track. Ask yourself what resonates with your truth and integrity. Take action accordingly. Soar freely above the commitments you have made and liberate your mind and heart to allow your soul to take off. The incantation, all that glitters is not gold, but I believed what I had been told. This omen bides me to retreat as protection, not defeat. So now I've pulled a card from the Goddesses and Sirens Oracle, as well as the Gods and Titans, one for the feminine, one for the masculine energies surrounding these omens or connected to it. The Goddesses and Sirens did want to come out first, but just reading this card of a possible warning, I think we're going to dive into the Gods and Titans. Simply because you have Set with Chaos. Trust that chaos is a part of the process of change. Things sometimes need to fall apart to reform into your desires. Hold your intention. The Egyptian god of the desert, darkness, chaos, and storms is Set, or Seth, an incredibly powerful god with many temples attributed to him. Set was the son of Nuit of the sky and Geb of the earth, and he was brother to Osiris. Set is a mysterious figure represented as a man with the head of a beast, including features of an aardvark, a jackal, or even a greyhound. He is considered the dark brother of Osiris, whom he killed and dismembered in jealousy. Set was the mighty lord of Upper Egypt and Ambos, which was situated on the western banks of the River Nile, and became the center of his cult. Set was regarded as barren, just like the desert with which he was associated. In fact, even in later dynasties, when the followers of Horus demonized Set, the people of the desert still honored him with major temples in remote areas. Current archaeological thinking is that Set was not always a demon or murderer, and instead was a victim of a smear campaign. As Pharaoh Menes united Upper and Lower Egypt, a natural competition formed between the two regions, politically, commercially, and even spiritually. Horus was the patron of the Lower Egypt. Set ruled Upper Egypt. The followers of both fought over who would be the patron of the unified kingdom. Finally, the followers of Horus reigned victorious, and Set was figuratively and perhaps even literally exiled to the fury of the desert for eternity. Carrying a special Waz scepter, a staff of power, Set parted chaos and embodied the organizing force of nature. As god of storms, he could whip up a destructive force from nothing, and as easily command his chaos to dissipate. Should the energies of Set blow in from the desert, know that all is not lost. There is such a thing as a necessary chaos. Sometimes things need to fall apart so that they can reform into what we really want. While we are in a chaotic space, mentally or physically, everything's confusing and hopeless, yet we need to trust that we are simply in a place of transition. Feeling like we create chaos or can't escape someone else's chaos can be tiring and stressful, but out of chaos comes new beginnings. When we feel there's anarchy in our lives, we often find exactly the type of order we need. There is also a yin to a yang, a dark to a light, an east to a west. One is not better than the other, they just are. We must recognize duality in ourselves for maximum spiritual growth. Perhaps you are seeing chaos and not order at present, and this is causing imbalance. I'm almost actually kind of a little bit from Set getting a bit of like Hades kind of energy, where I'm not necessarily, I'm just getting the word chaos. It may actually just be the word of death itself, may cause or feel like chaos. Maybe even like one of the original gods of the underworld, which Osiris is supposed to be the god of the underworld, but he wasn't the god of the underworld until he was resurrected, right? That wasn't his initial duties. So symbols that may connect you to Set's energy, we have the Ankh, the Waz scepter, and storms, 119. So ones can be connected to the house of Aries. This can be connected to ourself. So it could be even the storms within ourselves that create the chaos or seeming chaos. 19 is connecting to the sun. So the sun can help illuminate things, right? It can also be connected to one's own abundance, wisdom, and understanding. The word frankincense just kind of stuck out from the book. There is, within these cards, there are rituals and invocations you can use to evoke the gods, but I'm not really going to get into all of that. So let's pull a tarot card for clarification on this chaos for the Cancer Collective. Cancer, the set of chaos. Set of chaos for Cancer. What do they need to know with their divine masculine energy influence? You have the world. The world can be connected to cycles and patterns. It's also the last of the major arcana. So this could be the end of a particular phase, chapter, or cycle for you. The underlying energy, we have the Eight of Cups, which can, for some, symbolize walking away. This can also be about taking a time out. It can be about seeking times of solitude, being in our own energy, perhaps even connecting to our dreams, trying to understand something. The World card reminds us of the cyclical nature of existence. Where something ends, something else begins. I was kind of getting that a little bit with that set energy. Ruling Upper Egypt, I could have swore he was Lower Egypt, but I could be wrong. The Upper Egypt was connecting me more to like heaven, God, or Ra in the Egyptian pantheon, which is kind of like the God's eye doing the work so that things can continue flourishing and blossoming, right? Like sometimes things need to break away so that others can grow. We all end and begin in the same place. Ultimately, we never go anywhere. Something in your life may have come to a natural end, but it is not the end you need to be focused on. It is what has been created because something has come full circle. We have 83. So 8's House of Scorpio, which you could see this as scorpionic energy as well. Transformations, life, death, and rebirth. The cycles. 3's are Gemini's energy, the light and shadow. It's kind of like day and night. Gemini, one way I was kind of looking at it the other day is if you think of like the North Pole and the South Pole. The North Pole is usually covered in like darkness and cold, where the South Pole is covered in sun and heat, right? So they go through the exact kind of amount of extreme, but from the opposite scope. But 3's can be, Gemini's energy can be about connecting to yourself, like divine communication. 8 plus 3 is 11, which is the House of Aquarius. So this could be leading you to your blessings. It's almost like your heart's desires, right? Just kind of walking away and going back to the ocean here. It is not easy to admit that something you have invested time into just won't work. Walking away can be painful. Unfortunately, the problem is that if you don't walk away now, you will only make it worse when everything eventually comes crashing down. Staying will only bring you sustained pain. Leaving will hurt, but the pain will only be temporary. 111. It's definitely connected to the energy of the self. 3 1s would be that Gemini's energy, working with, finding the self, the light and shadow aspects within. Could just even represent chaos within your own creation. And by your own creation, I just mean your human body, right? That it kind of shakes something. But that chaos can also kind of bring to light something that wasn't there before. So the goddesses and sirens. You have Oya with power. Change is welcome. Allow the storm to pass, as it is necessary to clear the way. You are protected in your search for equality. Do not misuse your power. In a whirl of purple, the storm of change builds. Lightning flashes across the sky and thunder growls. 120. 20 can be connected to the card. Right before the World card is the card of Scorpio, which I was kind of getting with that set. And then you have the 8 of Cups, which is a water element as well, which can be the day of reckoning, the day of judgment. and rebirth. In the center of the maelstrom is mighty Oya, the Yoruban horned goddess of power, directing the storm like the conductor of an orchestra. Wife of Shango, the storm god, Oya is a force of nature. She clears the way for new growth, destroys what is not needed, and is a rainmaker, creating rivers and paths forward. She does not bring change gently. She brings it with great power and action. I'm totally visualizing like a tornado clearing out like bush to make like a footpath. Oya is particularly favorable to women who have need of protection and action, and she assists women in matters of equality with men. Her mysteries were traditionally passed from woman to woman, mother to daughter. So many of her rituals have been kept tightly. She is considered a goddess of magic, and her 9 daughters help her cast change magic. Oya may come into your life when you most need change but are seemingly unable to invoke it for yourself. If you are in a rut or find yourself in a situation that you simply do not have the resources to change, she is a great goddess to invoke. Sometimes we all need to move a part of our lives in a certain direction but don't have the strength to begin, such as moving away, saying goodbye, or breaking up with someone. Oya can help you make changes that are necessary but may be difficult. As a goddess of divination, she gives clear, concise answers when you consult her. We have 121, so this could be definitely a cycle here. 21 being connected to that world card. Symbols that may connect you to Oya. We have the dark-skinned goddess wearing purple, horned turban or hat. The number 9, the storms, rain, and water buffalo. So Oya, I was kind of interested by, just because I don't know if she's ever come out before. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, my first instinct, I want to say like African. I think a lot of these cards are kind of African inspired though. Could be like Indian, like East Indian, or maybe Spanish. I've just never heard of Oya. If you know anything about her, feel free to leave it in the comments. Let's get a clarifying card for power for Cancer. Ooh. The Queen of Swords. I'm seeing the symbol for Aquarius, so this could be Aquarius energy around you. You may have Aquarius energy in your charts. Originally, I was kind of seeing Gemini. Queen of Swords, though, is very powerful in her own creation, logic, karmic justice, and balance. The Snow Queen governs some of the most extreme territories in the world. Conditions are very rarely favorable, yet she must get on with her job. Regardless of her harsh environments, others still look to her for guidance and leadership. She needs to keep her mind focused and decisions swift. You may find you are walking in the footsteps of the Snow Queen right now. Your situation may not be ideal, and it may seem like everything is against you, but you have to keep going. Others are depending on you to stay the course and lead the way. We have number 255. Fives can be connected to the house of Leo, which is representing our house of pleasures, desire, passion, confidence, joy, things of that nature. 2s, again, are the Taurus energy, which was the moon phase at the time of this recording. Today's moon phase of personal values and self-worth. Fives I usually see as a midway point. It can also be a bit of a change in direction or patterns with that cyclical nature of the world card showing up for you, Cancer. It's the underlying energy. We have the Knight of Wands, so this definitely could be connected to passions. It's so funny every time I say passions. I mean, what I'm speaking of passions, I mean, it definitely could be like a creative venture. I'm more connected to like passions, desires, sexual energies, needs, wants, things of that nature. The Knight of Wands is still kind of youthful in energy, not as regal as, say, the Queen, right? But when I say passions, it actually makes me think of an old soap opera. It was really the only good soap opera there was. Until it was canceled. Just because it was full of mystical, stupid shenanigans. The Knight of Wands. When the Knight of Wands comes dancing into your life, you can rest assured that all your hard work and training are coming to a head. Pretty soon you will get to showcase all the wonderful new skills you have spent hours and hours refining. Your sacrifices will soon be worth it, so be vigilant and remain on the lookout. You will need to be able to identify what an opportunity looks like and what a hazardous distraction looks like as well. 167. So ones, again, that Aries energy is coming through pretty strong. 166 as well. Aries energy with that 1. Sixes can be connected to Virgo's energy, which is an earth element, right? Which is our overall health, service to ourself, doing ourselves, like justice and service, service to others, aiding and assisting others. Sevens are Libra's energy, which is all about balance. It definitely is the house of marriage and partnership. So for some, this could apply to your actual spousal situation. Is there any other advice? The Four of Swords. It kind of fell out funny. But the Four of Swords can be meditation, rest. It could be the loss of for someone. But there is spiritual allies and connections. Those two did not just come out like that. Okay then. With the Four of Wands, the card shows spiritual allies around you, ancestors kind of protecting and holding the space for you, or trying to work with you at least. But these two wanted to come out together, which is quite a pair here, right? We have like a match. King of Wands and Queen of Wands. What a fire energy. Geologically speaking, this would be coming more from the southern, right? Or eastern. The fire is just like, this is Pele, which I think is connected to Hawaii. Somewhere in that area, is it not? In Maui. Geographic location doesn't really have to mean anything to anybody. It's just something I'm kind of noticing with it's a theme of the fire suit for the Mermaid Tarot. The Shark King Kamahawali takes his job as protector and ruler very seriously. The waters and lands of his kingdom are abundant and rich, and many a troublemaker has tried and failed to infiltrate his peaceful and productive kingdom. In order for his queen to fulfill her duties, he must first fulfill his own. With his fire pearl at full power, he patrols the boundaries of his realm, protected by the many sharks at his command. He makes sure his centennials are in place and that the wards and protection spells of the fire pearls have not been tampered with. The King of Wands knows only too well that the freedoms and rights of his inhabitants are fragile things. If he is not vigilant, they could very easily be taken away. While Pele, the goddess of creation and destruction, knows the depths of her potential only too well. She knows when and where to use that power to create life and when to end a cycle that no longer serves anyone or anything. She controls the ebb and flow of liquid fire, the blood of the earth. Its veins are her domain. She is not interested in small petty things. Instead, her mind is focused on expansion, growth, and the necessary destruction for newness to get a foothold. Attachment is not something she has time for. In order to keep up with the ever-shifting and changing earth, she has to be ready to act at a moment's notice. 171. So this definitely can be connected to the self with those double ones of Aries energy, which is the cardinal, the original fire element, or the first fire element. Sevens being the Libra energy, which is balance, also the house of partnerships and marriage, relationships. I just noticed I'm a Cancer sun sign myself, so I just immediately connected to Pele's responsibilities. So you may kind of fall for each Cancer walking out there a little bit. You may resonate with both, but you may kind of fall more to one side. The Queen of Wands teaches us that life and death are one and the same. Where things grow, others die. Where things expand, others contract. Despite this paradox, she wants you to act, move forward, and create something new, exciting, and unlike anything you have ever done before. She knows that something in your life needs to be pulled down or destroyed so that the new thing can take its place. Take a moment to tune into the fiery power of Pele and let her energy seep into your veins. Let her show you where to wield your creative power and how to create something meaningful, passionate, and full of intent. So one thing I would do personally, on the whole magic scope or intention, if you will, energy, however you want to look at it, you can almost like close your eyes and imagine all the veins in your body being like purified by fire, perhaps even by lava. Remove poisons from the blood. Well, the King of Wands. The King of Wands reminds us that power comes with great responsibility and that your place at the top is only as firm as your dedication to lead with commitment and honor. He understands that his strength is not just for him alone, but for all who fall under his protection and guidance. Being a leader is not easy, and being one with great power is even harder still. However, despite his serious nature and commitment to the betterment of his realm, he will also act instantly without hesitation. The King of Wands is a doer, not a dreamer, and his boundless energy serves his duties well. Just getting a more of a protective kind of vibe with the King of Wands, right? Watching over and kind of protecting his domain. And it is falling on the same side as Oya with power. Whereas the Queen of Wands kind of understands, like I was kind of speaking of in the beginning with this set card, almost being a little more godlike in energy. I mean, he is a god technically, but more like knowing that things have to die and decease for new things to grow, right? Just kind of what Pele was speaking of, about the beauty of death is that new creation awaits. 173. With the King of Wands, it's almost like to tap into this power, maybe communication with some sort of like ancestors, spirit guides. You just have a lot of like kind of Gemini energy kind of peeking through your reading with the threes. Which can be the light and shadow, the kind of mirroring aspects. The masculine energy can also be like your physical body, whereas the feminine energy can be everything that's kind of going on behind the skin. So a reflection of what's going on within can sometimes manifest without, unless you're a really good actor. I have a little bit of energy of like knowing when to just kind of let things go. Even if they, it's like sort of, even if they deserve like justice or something, like I'm just kind of getting the image of this king kind of observing everyone in his domain, and if they don't kind of fall in line, then he would take the authority, right? Where the queen is almost suggesting like sometimes you just have to like turn that blind eye and kind of let it sort itself out, because it usually will without your input. So let's see what else needs to be revealed by the King and Queen of Wands. It's interesting that you have almost the entire court family here in the same suit. Self-forgiveness, let go of old guilt and remember that you're God's perfect child. Anything else? Self-forgiveness at this time is important. And tranquility. Make time to relax, be still, and enjoy your solitude, indulging in much-needed self-care. Maybe time to do a Venus bath, y'all. It's so funny. I realized the other day, I do what I call Venus baths, and I totally forgot that there's actually a product line called Venus Bath. To me, a Venus bath is flower petals in the water. I mean, you can have bubbles or whatever, but flower petals, and the whole point of that is to take the beauty of the flower and try to invoke it or embrace it within yourself. But yeah, there's totally a bath line that's actually kind of nice, called Venus Bath. They do natural, like they do like a tiger balm and bath salts and bubble bath and all that. So let's pull a card from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Just being drawn to this window pattern. This may not resonate for some, it may not make sense to the rest, but they're like diamonds, only they're not diamonds, they're square. Kind of getting like if almost like if you're looking down on a pyramid, right? Could be not needing to seek validation from without. Just noticing in both these cards, right? Her eyes are closed in the bubble bath. She's kind of in her own headspace. In here, tilted down, maybe a little bit of insecurity, shame, fear, regrets. But they're neither one of them are exactly looking outward. It's more inner reflection. which is also being shown in this Eight of Cups. This Eight of Cups is almost like leaving some sort of stability or mind frame behind and going back into the emotions. And the overall purpose is most likely self-forgiveness here. But what else does Cancer need to know? The path, number 8, waxing crescent, number 6. So 6s can be connected to the house of Virgo, which is our overall health, service to self, service to others. With the waxing crescent, that is the light growing on the moon, right? So I would assume that energy is kind of building or should be built upon, or the path may being like kind of revealed to you. It's like a gateway into another dimension. The path, the way is open for you. The path is illuminated. Begin the journey now and respond and take action. We must be courageous and move forward. The affirmation, I am open and responsive to the opening of the way. When we accept where we are, acknowledge what needs to change to grow, and begin to love ourselves more completely, the direction of our lives begins to change. We often decide we want to follow a more authentic way for ourselves, and our desires become more aligned with the needs, wants, and values of our true selves. Imagine we are lost in a dark forest and can hardly see. There is no visible path, and every way looks exactly the same. We feel burdened by shadows and are not sure we should even move because we are so paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. Then the sunshine somehow breaks through the clouds and leaf canopy, and there ahead is a path, illuminated in golden light. It is clear now and the direction we should head. The path is not only visible, but it is inviting us forward, and so instead of just standing there, we can't wait to step on it and move forward. The path is lit, and now it is time to walk upon it. Pyrite is the companion stone or metal to work with. So pyrite, isn't that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure pyrite is the fool's gold. It kind of looks similar to gold, but is not actually, in fact, gold. 32. 3 is that Gemini energy coming through again. We also have angel number 33. Communication about our, perhaps, personal values and self-worth, with that 2 of Taurus is the house of Taurus. The path is lit, and now it is time to walk upon it. So this could even be a path within your own mental scapes. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a physical landmark or path. And by that, I just mean meditation can take you to strange, sometimes, or unacknowledged recesses of the mind. May help the healing or self-forgiveness process here to bring about tranquility. So let's pull the closing messages with the angel of the day. Meditation is important today. Anya will help you find peace of mind. That's so funny that that came out like that. Meditation is important today. Aniel will help you find peace of mind. What else for Cancer? The energy of temperance. It's almost like things may even go wrong sometimes here with that chaos to show you your own power. Hopefully that doesn't need to be the case, but you know, sometimes maybe we need to be reminded. $14. I believe the card of Temperance is connected to Sagittarius's energy, which can be connected to our goals, desires, and ambitions. Under the power of the solar eclipse, the potions master mixes her most powerful potion yet. Timing is everything. The wrong move or amount will change the entire potion. The ingredients she's using have been carefully researched, handpicked, and measured 3 times before blending carefully. Timed precisely to when the moon begins its journey between the sun and the earth. So funny that that's coming through like that about a potion that needs specific ingredients measured. Just with this card of ornithomancy, it was reminding me of, on Disney, there's the series Agatha All Along, and the first episode is like a Real Housewives episode where they're in a house drinking wine, and then they realize that the wine is poison and they have to make a potion to save their lives, essentially. Spoiler alert. But when the clock starts ticking, this window fills up with water and it starts to crack. So if they don't do it in a certain amount of time, they die, right? It's just funny that it spoke of mixing the potions like that, because that was totally what it was kind of connecting to in my head, but I just didn't think that really had much relevance probably to your current situation. Temperance sits between death and the devil, a bridge between the old self and the new. She receives you after your ego has passed through death's door and shows you the possibilities of what life could be like by introducing you to the devil. It is not her place to cast judgment or to even make suggestions for how you should proceed from this point forward. If anything, Temperance is more interested in showing, not telling. For this reason, it is so important for you to pay close attention to everything she does while you are in her presence. Watch how she creates. Study her guided and extremely thought out actions. When you watch, maybe you will not be as tempted when she hands you over to the step that comes next. What is the card after the devil? Oh, the Tower. That makes sense. The Tower is kind of basically the righteous will fall. The Tower kind of reminds me of Cassiopeia. Oh, we have page number 69 too, so there could be a warning there. So Cassiopeia was basically cursed to have basically everything she wanted, but then eventually it would be taken from her. But this has something to do with ego. It's kind of like if you get what you want too fast, the ego can take over and there's like a thirst or crave for more. Kind of lose ourselves. It's like if you say want to be famous at a young age and you get there, you can become egotistical, chauvinistic, whatever, because the power can go to your head, right? So tempering the energies in the meantime, hopefully by the time you get to where you're going, you'll be able to stick to more of the reasons why you you're wanting to do the things or have the things in the first place instead of just material gain or social status. Can I get another angel? For the Cancer Collective. The Tower can be very much the energy of, what was I gonna say? I'm not sure where I was going with the Tower. I mean, the best reference I can really give is that whole Cassiopeia kind of thing. So what I read about the constellation of Cassiopeia, I think she was cursed to sit forever at her vanity, which she was like narcissistic, maybe? Because beauty was everything. And she got what she wanted, and it made her happy, but it kind of made her egotistical, so eventually the divine breaks that down because he can't let the rest of the world suffer for it. It's like getting a big head, as I mentioned. All things must come to an end. This ending will be a good one. Mamaya. Mamaya? Mamaya? The underlying energy to Temperance. You have the Two of Wands. So I'm just noticing in the Two of Wands there's like a volcano, like it's erupting, but it's not really chaotic, right? So this could even just be releasing emotions or trying to release the emotions as they come so that they don't create a huge destruction. I mean, with Pele's energy, you could also see it too as once that proverbial kind of zip pops, right? The lava will flow into the water, which will create more land, actually. So even in the destruction, good things can unfold. The Two of Wands. Looking to the future. Hopefully with hope and anticipation. I did land on the Ten of Pentacles, so there may be a concern with family, finances, stability. The Two of Wands. The Mer Warrior is at his station checking on the conditions around him. It is his job to keep watch because conditions in his environment can and do change quickly. And it's funny because I was looking at it. No, that's what I thought. It is him. I'm almost positive it's him because the tattoos look the same. You know what I mean? Like this one looks a little more filled in and detailed, which makes sense because you start from the ace and work your way to the king. It's kind of why I get that like Maui kind of vibe, which is, what is Maui? Moana, based on Polynesian, I believe. About the framework of our life, kind of the picture of our life growing and being more detailed as we go. But it is, I was just, when I saw this card, I was like, I wonder if that's the King of Wands right there. And it looks very much like it is the king. Maybe the king before he becomes the king, but the king nonetheless. He considers this sort of awareness part of his spiritual practice. Things can and will change quickly. For when change comes, which it will, he will be ready. He will know what direction to go and what will be required of him. Can you say the same? How aware are you about your changing environment? When working with creative energy, it behooves us to also raise our level of awareness so we can correct course when and where it's needed. You have felt the power and energy of the wands, but now you are discovering that it comes with a high level of risk. Now you have a choice to make. Will you rise to the occasion and take this new adventure or idea to the next level? Or will you take your current buzz and be satisfied with the small rush the Ace of Wands gave you? Just know that if you decide to take a risk, you will have to be like the Mer warrior and step into this energy as if it was a spiritual practice, full of devotion and honor. 137. Can't remember, that number already came out already. I think it was 173. So with this card, it could be a little bit of observation here, knowing when to pull back or even get out of something. Just noticing him watching the volcano, like, okay, is it going to be just a little eruption or a big eruption? Just kind of observing. But this can also be a card. It is speaking of perhaps being able to make some sort of resolutions, course correct, right? Change things. It's kind of what I see with Cassiopeia. Kind of the energy of like you may have to do things that aren't I don't know, legal to get by, right? But then knowing when to pull out before it kind of blows up in your face. It has the kind of the mindset of like, I don't know, doing things that you wish you didn't have to do just to survive. But then once you get kind of comfortable or situated or find your kind of path in life, right? You have that pathway opening up. Changing that circumstance, like not necessarily continuing on with it. And I am talking like crooks and hooks. Life is not easy, right? There's always things that we have to do to survive. But then once you get to a point where you're kind of situated, maybe there was things that went kind of against your moral code or creed that need some forgiveness, but you can also change the path moving forward. That may not resonate for some. But that is kind of what I get with Cassiopeia, because Cassiopeia really does connect me to the Tower's energy of the righteous will fall. And it's like, the righteous will fall. It could be very much like at one point they did deserve a wish, a desire, something that they wanted from life. But if you like dishonor yourself, kind of, then the divine steps in and course corrects, right? Or you can do the inner work and kind of course correct for yourself. So let's pull one more card and we'll end the reading. Get one more card for the Cancer Collective. You are being helped. Heaven is working behind the scenes to help you, even if you don't see results yet. which was coming out with that Four of Swords. The reason I didn't read the Four of Swords for you is because sometimes when I'm shuffling, thoughts are running from my mind, and if a card flies out in the middle of one of those thoughts, I do interpret that as the cards are speaking to me directly, not so much you. But the Four of Swords. Looks like you would be third from the top. I started at the bottom. So the Four Swords can be kind of like an incubation period, but you have all these spiritual guides and allies protecting and surrounding you. This could definitely be connected to your own family here. The underlying energy, you do have the Six of Swords, which does symbolize moving away from things. Can be different for every Cancer out there. This may be a bit of a rocky ride, though. The description of this card is this seal helping the merman who can't walk on land, so he builds a raft, and the seal helps him, but it's a bumpy ride getting out of a situation. But if you're kind of feeling maybe it's time to move on, for some that definitely could be the answer. You are being helped, and I'm getting connected to, is it Leo's energy? Leo's reading? Dreams and oracles. So if you have a lot of Leo placements, you may want to check that reading out. But there could be things coming through dreams and oracle messages, obviously omens, that are speaking to you. This omen is kind of a darker omen, but it's reminding me of Alexander the Great with Angelina Jolie was in it. She played Alexander's mother, and at the end of the movie, because Alexander went on and battled all these places, and was it China I think he lost to? Because he kind of, his ego got the best of him. He started winning all these wars and wanted to win more, right? So at the end of that story, I think it's an owl or an eagle or a hawk or something that brings a snake back to his mother, and his mother was like obsessed with snakes, and drops a dead snake right before her, and she weeps in sorrow because she was basically trying to get him to be Alexander the Great so she could have a throne again. But what wasn't so great, at least in the movie, it kind of shows off that basically he was gay, and he had to win every war because he couldn't allow himself to admit it or something. I don't know. It's a weird kind of long movie, but that is kind of what I was getting. What was I getting from that card? I don't know why I keep seeing that. Just the bird bringing back the snake and dropping a dead snake right in front of her, symbolizing your son is dead. Just a little dark and fucked up, but that's again connecting me back to that Cassiopeia or tower energy of, yeah, well, you kind of deserved it. So tempering the energies and forgiving ourselves so we don't complicate our path more than necessary. All things must come to an end. This ending will be a good one. You are being helped. Self-forgiveness is key. Find places for moments of tranquility. Totally came out like a rhyme or a poem, but there you have it, Cancer. I hope this reading resonates with you. If it did, please feel free to hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. As I mentioned before, all the decks I have used in your reading will be hashtagged in the description box below for anyone that wants to purchase any of these decks to work with for themselves, as well as my PayPal for donations. I will see you next time, and thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.